Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel and my video. I'm so glad to have you here. Today, I'm back again with a real-life story. I want to mention that I've adjusted a few parts of the story for clarity. Please support me by subscribing to my channel. And now, let's dive into the story. Hi everyone, I'm Emily. I'm 47 years old, and today I want to tell you about how I got married and everything that happened afterward. I met David through a mutual friend when I was 16. He was my school friend's cousin. Whenever I went out with her, David would tag along because he acted like her protector. That made her family more comfortable letting her go out. Not that we could go very far, we usually just strolled around the neighborhood. During those walks, David and I became close. Day by day, we connected more deeply, and one day he confessed his love. That's how we became a couple. My friend knew about us, but for some reason, when she found out we were dating, she went straight to my family and told them. Because of that, I was beaten badly and wasn't allowed to go out for months. After that day, I started to feel a deep hatred toward her. I was so furious that I wanted to tear her hair out whenever I thought about her. Months later, when I was finally allowed outside, I found her, and we got into a full-blown fight. After the fight, I tried to fix myself up and head home, but as I turned onto our street, I heard someone call out to me. I looked around. No one. Then I heard a louder voice. It was David, hiding behind an apartment building. As soon as I saw him, I ran to him. I had cried so many nights, missing him. We hugged tightly and caught up. Instead of going home, I sat with him for a long time. That night, we made a wild plan. If our families wouldn't let us be together, we'd run away and get married. He took his savings from work and I grabbed the gold bangles on my arm. Even though my brother was in the next room, my hands and feet were shaking as I packed and quietly slipped out. I met David behind the same building. We boarded a bus together. We were terrified someone would find us before we got legally married. When we arrived in Brighton, David managed to get a friend to help us register our marriage. The moment we were officially married, it felt like a huge weight lifted off our shoulders. We stayed at that friend's house for a bit and started looking for our own place the next morning. We found a small apartment we could afford, and we managed to survive a week on our savings. Then David found a job. But just a few days before he started working, both our fathers tracked us down. We told them we were married. They couldn't do much. David was of legal age. My father tried to hit me, but David stood up for me. Anyway, that's in the past. 4 years into our marriage, David was working regularly and I was a housewife. But no matter what we did, we couldn't have a child. It broke both our hearts. Still, we managed to go on. Sometimes David said he had to work night shifts. I would lock the door and go to sleep. One day, while David was at work, I decided to step out to buy a few things. Just as I opened the door, I saw a baby in a stroller, fast asleep. I looked around. No one was there. I didn't want the baby to get cold, so I brought it inside. Before calling the police, I called David. He told me not to call them. He rushed home and said, "Let's wait a few days. If no one comes for her, we'll take her in." I told him it didn't make sense, but he said, maybe God wanted us to experience being parents. Maybe this is his way of giving us a child. I paused. Something maternal awakened inside me. Weeks passed, then months, and no one came. She became our daughter. We lived for years with her, a real family. David was her dad, I was her mom. We never once told her she wasn't really ours. When she turned 9, I found a note at the front door, wedged in the doorframe. It fell to the ground when I opened it. I picked it up, curious. What I read made my hands tremble. But I had to keep calm for my daughter. The note said, "The child you are raising as your daughter is actually mine. Her father is your husband, David." I wanted to confront David immediately, but I waited until he came home. I couldn't control myself and sent him a photo of the note. I waited for hours, losing my mind. It was one of the hardest nights of my life. When he finally came home, I put our daughter to sleep and dragged David into the other room. At first, he denied everything, but when he realized how serious it was, he confessed everything. He said, "If I didn't love you, I wouldn't have stayed married to you all these years. I just wanted us to have a child. That woman wanted to terminate the pregnancy, but I told her to have the baby. We'd raise her together." As he spoke, I tried to understand the life I had been living. I was furious, but also couldn't fully blame him because I couldn't have children. Then we found out the woman wanted money. We gathered what we could and gave it to her. She never bothered us again. Later, I found out she had been working as a prostitute. To this day, I don't know if David really wanted a child or if it just happened. But after all these years, it doesn't matter anymore. Our daughter still doesn't know the truth about her biological mother, and I will do everything in my power to keep it that way. What did that child do to deserve this? A mother who sold her baby for money, a husband who cheated, using a tragic excuse, and a woman who chose to stay silent. I won't share my personal opinion because this is a heavy and serious topic, but what do you think about it? And please, don't forget to support me by subscribing to my channel. I love you all so much. Take care of yourselves, my dear ones. Goodbye.